and specifically questions that keep coming up about the bench press. Namely, is the bench press worth it? Or is the bench press a good exercise to build my pecs, right? And the short answer to the question, like a lot of things in fitness, is it depends. The long answer is it depends on what your fitness goals are, right? For today, we're specifically talking about, is the bench press a good way to build my chest, right? Very short answer to that is it a good way to build your chest? Potentially. Is it the best way to build your chest? Probably not, right? To take a deep dive into that, let's think of just what muscle growth is, what hypertrophy is. Essentially building bigger muscles, building more and bigger muscle fibers, right? And let's look at some of the things that are required to get there, and then we'll rate the bench press on whether it's good or poor for those, right? And I'll keep it pretty simple. Some of the things you need for hypertrophy or muscle growth: mechanical tension. You need to look at the movement path. You need to look at progressive overload. Tied into this is sort of range of motion. And then you need to look at joint safety, okay? That's not all of them, but those are a lot of the things you need to factor in when you decide what movement is maximizing your ability to grow a muscle. In this case, your chest muscles. Mechanical tension, what is that? Really simply put, it's subjecting a muscle to as much effort as possible, right? Movement path, range of motion. Is that exercise mimicking and maximizing what that muscle is designed to do? Progressive overload. Is there a stable and predictable way to continue to challenge that specific exercise? Joint safety. Does this achieve the goal you're looking for without compromising the health of that joint? Is it stressing out the joints associated with that muscle a little bit too much? Let's rank how the bench does here. Mechanical tension. It does okay. Does it make your chest work? Absolutely. If there is a critique of the bench, and it's a similar critique to almost any compound movement that uses a bar, it's that a lot of the effort is being taken away by other muscles. In this case, the front of your shoulders and the back of your arms, your triceps. In fact, you've heard people argue before that the bench is actually a better way to blow up your arms than it is to blow up your chest, right? So can you cause a lot of effort in the chest from the bench? Yes. Is some of that effort being leaked into other muscles and not maximizing what the chest itself has to do here? Unfortunately, yes. So it's an okay driver of mechanical tension specifically to the pecs. Movement path, range of motion. Does it maximize what the pec muscles are supposed to do? Very simply put, again, oversimplifying, but generally speaking, the chest muscles, they assist in pushing horizontally from back to front, and they assist in bringing the arm toward the midline of the body, right? That first one is covered pretty effectively by the bench, although you can say that even then the arms, the triceps take more of that. The second one is not. Yes, you can visualize bringing the arms in, but there is no active adduction, bringing in of the arm as you move the bar from the chest away from you, right? So sadly, the bench press does not mimic specifically the natural movement of the fibers in the pectoral muscle. So again, here it is just okay. Progressive overload is where the bench press shines, right? It is probably the easiest way to track how hard you're working in that movement. You you simply just add weight to the bar over time. This is probably its greatest advantage. Unfortunately, this lends itself a little bit more to strength gains than hypertrophy gains, right? It's a little bit of a side note, but this is a great place to add that if your goal is to track your strength in the horizontal pushing pattern, it is very, very difficult to beat the bench press. If you are a power lifter, you're not going to get a better movement than the bench press because the goal is to press as heavy as you can off of your chest. If you are a sprinter, again, and you're trying to look for an upper body strength slash power movement that doesn't fry the lower body and fry the nervous system close to a race, you're gonna have a hard time beating the bench press. So it's a bit of a side note, but this is a great opportunity to say if your goal is strength, you're not gonna get a better movement than the chest, right? Than the bench, sorry. And then lastly, joint safety. This is probably where the bench comes in pretty low, unfortunately. Why is that? It's related to this. If you look at the mechanics of what the shoulder and the chest are supposed to do, and the mechanics of what the bench press subjects you to, there's a pretty big mismatch there, right? So again, oversimplifying, if you look at the shoulder, it's designed to rotate, it's designed to move upward, move downward, inward, outward. It's basically a very mobile joint. The bench press asks essentially the complete opposite of that. It fixes you into a space where the tendon and the joint is relatively stressed out when you're moving heavy loads, and it's just asking you to move in and out of that position, right? If you're somebody with generally healthy tendons and joints, not the biggest concern in the world. Is this the safest place to maximize load? There is a reason that heavy, super heavy benching also tends to have a correlation with pec tendon tears, right? So just make of that information what you will. You'll also notice that a lot of benchers, big benchers, have reverted to a narrower grip, just to, make that angle that the shoulder and the elbow have to subject themselves to during a bench a little bit less harsh, right? All of that is to say, is the bench press a bad exercise? Good or bad is a little bit too black and white. Good or bad depends on your goal. If you have healthy shoulders, and if your goal is to move as much load as possible and get some hypertrophy as a convenient or residual effect, there's definitely a place for that. If you had to rank the top 3 to 5 to 10 exercises for just pure hypertrophy in the chest, if you're somebody that already has a good base of muscle and wants to specifically hone in on pectoral mass, it is probably not the #1 movement, right? So does it have its place? Absolutely. Is it the king of mass building for your chest? I don't know that it is, right? But that being said, whether you choose to keep it or eliminate it from your program, that's a personal choice. Okay, so that's it. That's my take on the bench. If this helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. More nuggets coming.